Unacademy. Let's crack it.
Hello everyone, welcome to Unacademy. I am Divyanshu Chaudhary and I have secured All India Rank 30 in UPSC Civil Services Examination 2020. In this video, we are going to talk about how to prepare for the Maths optional in the UPSC Civil Services Examination. Since Maths is a very technical optional and at the same time is also considered as one of the highest scoring optionals, that's why it is very important to have a strategy for Maths optional to maximize your marks and get your desired rank and service. Before starting off, I would like to give a brief intro about myself. As I had already mentioned, I have secured All India Rank 30 in the Civil Services Examination this year. I have done my BTech in Electrical and Electronics from BITS Pilani, and I was in BITS Pilani from the years of 2011 to 15. So I graduated in 2015, and post that I went off to IIM Calcutta to do my MBA till 2017. After finishing my MBA from IIM Calcutta, I got a job in the HSBC Bank where I worked for a year till mid of 2018, and then I decided to quit my job to start the preparation of civil services full-fledgedly and moved to Delhi for that. Also, as I have already mentioned, my optional in this examination was mathematics, and at the same time my hobbies include writing Hindi stories, as I am a story writer, an interest in the Indian mythology, particularly the epics like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, and reading biographies and autobiographies of famous personalities. Here I would like to tell all the aspirants that I will be taking free live class series of 5 classes which will be included in the special class series of the Unacademy platform. In these classes, I will be taking up certain topics like discussing some tips and tricks about the prelim strategy to crack the prelims examination in the very first attempt. Similarly, I would also be taking up some answer writing tricks and strategy for the mains examination to maximize your scores in the GS, essay and optional papers. And similarly, I would also be going forward with discussing my strategy for the personality test, which is the final stage in the UPSC Civil Services Examination, along with topics like stress and time management and staying motivated and developing emotional intelligence during the Civil Services Examination preparation. For this, I would like to refer to the aspirants to use the code DC30 for the same to log into the classes and enjoy the benefit of my experience in civil services examination process. So here I would like to talk about the Unacademy platform where the top GS educators of the country are available. As you can clearly see, various educators like Mrunal sir, Sudarshan sir, Prateek sir and Siddharth sir are available on this platform who with their plethora of knowledge have been reaching out to the aspirants through as many live classes as possible and rectifying the doubts for the aspirants as well. So here I would like to take the opportunity to talk about the pros of Unacademy platform, which basically are: the first is interactive live classes. So as I already mentioned, the classes that take place between the educators and the students are very interactive, where they can ask their doubts by raising the hand, and similarly on the point these doubts are solved by the educators, leading to maximum satisfaction and understanding of the aspirants. And thirdly, the biggest pro of the Unacademy platform is that it is available to the aspirants anytime and anywhere in the country. For example, even if you are in a remote location in the country, or if you want to watch these videos anytime during the day or night, the platform will have these videos be made available to you. So now we come to the crux of this topic, where I would be discussing the strategy to prepare for UPSC CSE Maths optional. Before venturing into the nitty-gritties of this topic, I would like to say that in both the attempts that I gave, I managed to score fairly good marks in mathematics. In the first attempt, I got 277 marks, and in the second attempt, I got 285 marks out of 500, which are fairly good scores if compared to the humanities optional, and because of which I have landed up this year at the rank of 30 and got my desired service as well. So, firstly, I would be giving you an overview of the topics that I will be covering in this lecture. The first one would be the reason for choosing maths optional, which is the most important thing, because if your reason is not correct, then you might end up getting very less marks in mathematics, which happens to a lot of aspirants as well. So it is very important that you have the right reason and the right strategy for choosing and covering the syllabus of maths optional. My second point would be telling you about the pros and cons of maths optional. It is widely feared amongst the aspirants that if you choose the maths optional, normally you are going to get less marks only. But this is also one of the myths that I would be bursting about maths optional, which is basically the third point of this lecture, where I will be talking about some myths that hover around the maths optional and what was my experience with maths optional in cracking this examination with a good score. So firstly, I would like to tell you my personal reasons for choosing maths optional. There were 4 basic reasons why I wanted to go for maths optional, which are listed down in this slide as well. The first and the most important reason was that maths is a very interesting subject for me, and it has always been my favorite subject right from school and college times. So that's why having the interest is of a paramount importance in optional, as it is very much responsible to break the monotony of GS when you basically have a lot of knowledge gathered inside your mind after reading GS, and you want a subject where you can lightly just hover through rather than going into a lot of facts again. So this was my first reason for choosing maths optional. The second reason why I opted for maths optional is because it is a static subject. There is no possibility of any current affairs that is available in this maths optional. So I do not have to refer to the newspapers every now and then to cover the topics for maths optional. And since it is static, the syllabus is fixed. I know the topics and the questions that can come. That's why practice is the only thing which remains after you choose maths optional. The third most important point was that I had covered several topics of mathematics in my engineering and management backgrounds. For example, topics like differential equations, both linear and partial. Similarly, operations research was covered in both my engineering and management backgrounds. And also, topics like vectors were also being discussed in these backgrounds, because of which I was fairly confident that I will be able to finish some topics earlier than usual, and hence I would then be able to devote more time to the tough topics like modern algebra and fluid dynamics, and similarly more time to GS as well. So my prior experience of dealing with the topics that were present in maths optional paper helped me score good marks in both the attempts. And finally, the most important thing for a UPSC aspirant is that the optional that they choose has to be a scoring one. And if I am not wrong, I think maths has been one of the, if not one of the, it's been the topmost optional across all the years, with the highest marks always being above 320 to 340. Last year, the highest marks were 343. This year, the highest marks in maths optional are 322. So what I want to say is that achieving 300 plus, which is a very good score in optional, is relatively easier in mathematics as compared to the humanities optional, given that you have practiced and sweat out a lot on your study table before you actually appear for maths optional in your final examination. Now comes the next part of this topic, where I will be discussing the pros and cons of taking maths as an optional by a civil services examination aspirant. So here I would first be discussing the pros of maths. Firstly, the big pro is that it is a highly scoring optional, as I have already mentioned to you. The average marks of people who clear this examination with mathematics optional is higher in the optional paper as compared to the other options. Similarly, the second biggest pro is that you can predict the marks in maths optional. For example, in both my attempts, I was able to predict my marks very accurately. For example, in the first attempt, I predicted that I would get a score between 270 to 280 and I got 277 marks. Similarly, in my second attempt, I predicted that I will get a score between 280 to 290 and I got 285 marks. This is only possible in an optional like mathematics, where you can be fairly confident about the number of marks that you will be getting, and that will give you a boost as compared to other aspirants in your optional and GS preparation as well. Also, as I've already talked about, refreshing nature of mathematics, because it breaks GS monotony, is also a very important factor and a very important thing to choose maths as an optional. The third most important pro of maths is that it is preferred for engineering and maths background people, because in these backgrounds, since majority of the topics have already been covered in the syllabus that is available in the college, so you just have to revise them again and practice them more and more to perfect the questions and then deliver in the examination. So if you belong to these backgrounds, and if you want to take any humanities optional, I would first suggest that you have a thought over it, because you will be reading that subject right from the scratch and it will take you 4 to 5 months for the same. And also, it might not give you as high marks as maths will give you. So I would suggest that for people in the engineering and maths backgrounds to seriously consider taking maths as an optional. And finally, the fourth pro is that maths covers the lag of GS, because majority of the people have not come from the humanities optional, so they do not have an idea about GS answer writing, which can lead to a lower score in the mains examination. But if you have a maths optional where you can fetch a score of 280, 290 or 300 plus, then you can be fairly confident that the lag of GS will be covered and you will be making into the final list. Similarly, the static nature of maths, as I have discussed before, is also a very important factor in going for maths as an option. Now, I would like to discuss some cons of maths as well. As every coin has two sides, there is also a negative side to taking maths as an optional also. The first and the biggest con is that you can land up on the bad side, because if you have not practiced maths optional well, you will not be able to do well in the examination, because a lot of marks depend on the final answer also. And if you're not able to proceed sequentially and arrive to that answer, you might end up getting very low marks. Similarly, the second con is that it needs a lot of time. The first go of mathematics takes around 8 to 9 months to be prepared for, if you cover the material of coaching and books simultaneously, which is almost double the time of a humanities optional, and hence this can basically wreak a havoc on your GS preparation if you're not able to handle them simultaneously. Also, not only the time for GS will get reduced, there will also be no help in GS, because maths is an entirely technical and static subject altogether, and it has no components linked to GS, in terms of optionals like sociology, public administration, or PSIR, etc. So, and the third point is that it is very much dependent on partial marking. Nobody knows how the partial marking is done. It is all based on speculations. So you might end up being on the better side of partial marking or on the worse side of it. But assuming that you have practiced well, I think this con can be negated because you will be able to arrive to the final answer in the most right manner. And I think that can help you get good marks in mathematics. Now comes the third and the most important part of this slide, where I'll be bursting some myths related to mathematics. Some of them flow from the pros and cons that I have already mentioned before in this slide, and some of them are relatively new, which I will be talking about as I progress sequentially in this slide. The first and the biggest myth about mathematics is that mathematics has massive scaling, which reduces the marks of an aspirant who has taken maths as an optional. I would like to say this is completely incorrect. As per my calculations in both these years, I would like to say that 0.8 or 80% is the factor where by which the scaling takes place in maths optional. And if I have to divide it, I can say 75% in paper 1 and 85% in paper 2. I am not saying that these are the exact numbers. They vary each and every year based on the difficulty of the examination and the performances of the candidates. But broadly, on an average level, you can assume that these will be the factors. For example, this year, in my paper 1, my correct attempt, including partial marks as well, was close to 200 marks. And when I got my mark sheet for this year, I scored 150 marks, which is exactly 75% of the 200 correct attempt that I was assuming. So as you can clearly see, I was able to predict my marks in mathematics very accurately because I had a hunch about the scaling factor that basically is also based on the news that is available in the UPSC market, that close to 80% will be the scaling factor. And you can clearly see, even after scaling, maths will give you higher marks than humanities optional. For example, if I talk about getting a 350 marks attempt correctly in maths paper, that would eventually give you 280 marks. And achieving 280 in humanities optional is a huge task. Now you can imagine that out of 500, even if you are able to get 350 marks correct, that too adding up the partial marks and everything, you will be able to get a fairly good score of 280 plus. And if your correct attempt reaches to 400, you're definitely going to get more than 300 marks. So as I can clearly tell you, there is no massive scaling in mathematics, and choosing mathematics optional even after scaling will give you better returns than humanities optional. The second myth burst is that there is no partial marking in mathematics and marks are only awarded for the correct answer. I would like to say that this is absolutely wrong, and it totally depends on till which step the answer is correct. I would like to give you personal examples in this. This year in paper 1, question 5, there were two questions, 5A and 5B, which I had solved correctly until the second last step, and I made a very minor mistake and wrote the wrong answer in the last step. So basically my entire solution was correct except the final answer, and I was assuming that if I would be getting an 8 out of 10 for the correct answer, the 8 being flowing from the scaling part, for this attempt I think I should be getting 6 marks. And based on my calculations, I'm pretty sure I got 6 out of 10 in that. So as you can clearly see, since all my steps were correct, only the final answer had some mistake, I was still able to score 6 marks out of 10, which should have been 8 in case of a perfect answer. So please do not think that there is no partial marking in mathematics. It entirely depends on till which step your answer is correct and how have you progressed sequentially from the first to the final step. The third myth is that it takes almost a year to finish the syllabus. Here I would like to tell you that yes, the amount of time taken to finish the syllabus of mathematics is huge. It can go to 9 to 10 months. But if you plan it out right, you can finish the syllabus pretty early. For example, as I mentioned here, I finished maths coaching in nearly 4 to 5 months, which basically goes on till the entire year. But how was I able to do that? Let me come to that point now. So, when I looked at the syllabus of mathematics, I saw that there were certain topics which were fairly easy. For example, differential equations, be it linear or partial, vectors, numerical analysis, and similarly other topics like operations research, etc., were fairly easy, which I could cover on my own also. So I decided to take the coaching for only those topics which were tough for me. For example, linear and modern algebra, 3D geometry, similarly fluid dynamics, mechanics, etc., where basically, and also real analysis was one of them. So basically I only went for those topics which were tough to me, and hence I was able to finish all those topics in the time span of 4 to 5 months. So you need to plan out your coaching in such a way that you do the easy topics by yourself, and then you only go for the coaching classes, be it online or offline, for the duration that would be around 4 to 5 months. And by this, you will be able to cover the syllabus in a relatively shorter span of time. Now comes the next part, where I would like to talk about, is coaching necessary if I talk about the maths optional? I would like to say that coaching is not necessary in maths optional. But the material for maths optional is very, very important. But again, the coaching for maths optional also depends on the mental ability of a student. For example, in my case, I thought after seeing topics like modern algebra and real analysis that I may not be able to solve or to go through these topics on my own, and hence I decided to take up coaching for mathematics. It doesn't depend on the mode of coaching, be it offline or online, both are equivalent. But at the same time, if you think that you will be able to solve the questions and the material based on your mental ability, then coaching is not necessary. Otherwise, you can opt for coaching. The second thing is that please do not think that you can sit and study maths like humanities. It is absolutely important to always have pen and paper with you while solving maths questions, and practice is the paramount thing when we talk about maths optional. You cannot succeed in this examination if practice is unavailable in maths optional, because when you appear for the final exam, you will see there will be some questions which have appeared directly from the previous year's question papers or from the book list or the books that you have referred. And if you do not have the required amount of practice, you will not be able to replicate the solutions in those book list and previous year questions in your final examination. So practice is the paramount thing in maths optional. Similarly, I would like to say that maths is recommended for anyone having interest and ready to practice for hours. Why I say this is because there are many people who have asked me that, sir, is maths only recommended for students from tier 1 college like IIT, NIT, BITS, etc.? I would like to say that's absolutely wrong. We see every year there are many toppers from maths optional who do not come from a tier college, but the only thing that has driven them forward is that they basically had interest in mathematics and they were ready to practice for hours. If you have these two things, that you have an interest in mathematics and you're ready to practice and sit for a longer duration of time and enjoy mathematics preparation as a subject, I think taking up maths optional will be a very suitable option. So with this, I would like to thank you for your time, and I would recommend to all the people, especially from engineering and mathematics background, to seriously consider choosing maths as an optional. And hereby, I would also like to thank Unacademy for giving me the opportunity to share my experience. Thank you.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.